They thought it would remain hidden, that the world wouldn't notice the quiet gathering behind Vatican walls. No official fanfare, no grand announcement echoing through St. Peter's Square. And yet, within the sacred shadows of Rome, a decision was made that could alter the direction of the global church forever. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, the beloved son of Asia, once again called by name, not by men, but some say by heaven itself. Whispers began to spread, first among the curia, then among the faithful, about a secretive closed-door meeting between high-ranking cardinals and Pope Leo XIV himself. What happened in that room has not been fully revealed until now. In a rare moment of vulnerability, the cardinal who had once broken into tears speaking of Christ's love for the poor, now stood before his closest confidants, overcome again, this time by the weight of a new mission. This is not just another Vatican reshuffling. This is not politics as usual. This is spiritual warfare, a call to arms cloaked in humility. Today, we reveal the first emotional words of Cardinal Luis Tagle after receiving his new position, and what was uncovered in that private Vatican meeting that has shaken even the most seasoned church insiders. Stay with us as we dive into the heart of a prophetic moment where duty, destiny, and divine intervention collide. They say heaven speaks in silence, and sometimes, in the quiet corridors of power, the voice of God moves through the trembling heart of a single man. This time, it was Luis Antonio Tagle, a name whispered not only in churches, but now in rooms of decision among papal advisors and angels alike. For months, Rome had remained curiously silent. No word, no leak, only a growing sense among watchers of the church that something unseen had shifted. Then, without warning, it happened. A subtle message from the Vatican press office, buried between mundane reports. Cardinal Tagle, reassigned. But to what? And why now? At first glance, it seemed routine, a familiar face in a new role. But what unfolded behind those ancient walls went far deeper. This was not simply the appointment of a man. It was the quiet setting in motion of a divine chess move, a repositioning for the times we are now living in. Because what's happening isn't political. It's prophetic. Tagle's appointment as pro-prefect of the section for first evangelization within the newly restructured dicastery is not just a bureaucratic shift, it is a spiritual declaration. In a church facing confusion, division, and war against truth itself, this role places him at the spearhead of proclaiming the gospel where it has grown cold, or where it has never truly reached, to the margins, to the forgotten, to the broken, and it is here, standing on the precipice of this massive responsibility, that the cardinal, known for his humility, his tears, his unshakable faith, spoke. His voice was not that of a politician. It was the voice of a son, a servant, perhaps even a reluctant prophet. He looked around the room, filled with a few trusted clergy and Vatican officials, and for a moment, the air seemed to hold its breath. And then he said, his voice trembling, his eyes wet, "If this is from God, I am not worthy. But if he has called me, then I can only say yes." That was all. But it shook everyone who heard it. What many do not know is what followed those words. After his acceptance, Cardinal Tagle remained in the chapel alone for over an hour, kneeling, unmoving, whispering prayers no one could hear. One staff member later described a presence in the room, a sense of something, not of this world, a stillness charged with divine electricity, the kind that wraps around the bones and stirs the soul. Sources close to the inner circle confirmed something else. That just before the meeting ended, a question was asked directly to Cardinal Tagle. "Do you believe this is the beginning of something greater?" His response was not political. It was chilling. "I believe the world is being asked to choose again." What does he mean? That this mission, his new post, is not just about administration or evangelization strategy, but about a spiritual line being drawn across the earth? That in the silence of this assignment, something thunderous is taking place in heaven, and then another layer, hidden until now. The meeting in which this appointment was finalized was said to have taken place after an unscheduled conversation between Tagle and Pope Leo XIV, a conversation that was not recorded. No staff, no aides, just the two men inside the apostolic palace beneath the painted gaze of the Last Judgment. We do not know what was said. But those close to the Pope say he emerged visibly shaken, not distressed but moved, profoundly. Some say he wept. Others say he spoke of a light in Asia and a mantle being passed in secret. Was he referring to a spiritual inheritance? A divine baton handed down in silence? And what of the strange event that took place the following morning? At 4:33 a.m., the bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang once, only once, despite no scheduled liturgy. It was recorded on surveillance, but no one has yet claimed responsibility. And when Vatican security checked the system, they found no malfunction, only silence. Was it a glitch? Or was it, as some now claim, a sign? In Filipino circles, there is growing talk of a prophecy long forgotten, that a man from the East would rise not through ambition, but through tears, that he would be known for gentleness but carry the roar of heaven in his chest, that when he is sent again, it would signal the beginning of a final outreach, a last attempt by heaven to call back the wandering hearts. And now, as this cardinal, this son of immigrants, this preacher of mercy, steps into the role of first evangelization, something ancient seems to echo. It is as if the church is being summoned back to its origin story. Not power, not empire, but the raw, trembling voice in the desert. Prepare the way of the Lord. And still, Cardinal Tagle has not given a public speech since the appointment. Only that private, emotional whisper recorded by those who were there. If he has called me, then I can only say yes. The world may overlook this moment. But for those who feel the spiritual tremors, those who recognize when heaven moves quietly behind the curtain, this is not just a new role. It is the spark before the fire. And somewhere, in a chapel cloaked in candlelight, a man on his knees whispers prayers for a world about to be shaken. He may wear the robes of a cardinal, but in the silence of Rome he is now something more. A witness, a warning, a vessel, and the beginning of something that cannot be stopped. And while most of the world slept beneath the illusion of ordinary days, something shifted in the unseen realm. The appointment of Cardinal Tagle was not simply the filling of a position, it was the lighting of a fuse. Within 24 hours of his silent acceptance, reports began to emerge. Strange phenomena in 3 countries. In the Philippines, a fisherman claimed to see the sun dancing above the water near Manila Bay, pulsing in crimson waves. In Rome, tourists near the Vatican swore they heard a choir singing in an empty piazza. No source, no explanation. And in Fatima, the sky clouded at noon, but no rain fell. Only silence, the kind that feels like a held breath from heaven. Coincidence or a divine confirmation? And still, Tagle remained quiet. No press conferences, no self-congratulations. Only a single appearance caught on camera as he exited the Pontifical Urbaniana University. His face was solemn, but those who studied the footage noticed something else. He was holding a sealed envelope, stamped not with the Vatican insignia, but a golden symbol long believed to have disappeared with the last secret archives of Pope John Paul I. Some now believe that envelope contains a final directive, a document not for public eyes, but for a mission unfolding beneath the surface, a shadow operation of mercy and judgment. And then, the whispers began. Vatican insiders speak of a covert gathering scheduled weeks from now, a meeting not announced, to the public, involving only a handful of prelates. The location? Unknown. The topic? Censored. But one name was confirmed on the list: Tagle. Why him? Why now? Some claim this mission was prophesied in the writings of Sister Lucia, yes, the same visionary of Fatima, who allegedly penned a fourth secret, hidden away after Vatican scrutiny declared it too disruptive to release. In this lost vision, a voice from the East is said to rise in a time of global trembling, and that this voice would carry a final message before the shaking begins. And just as this surfaced, another twist. A retired Swiss guard, speaking anonymously, revealed that for the last year an area of the Vatican gardens, long closed to the public, has been under constant surveillance. No one has been told why. No visible renovation, no open activity. Just silence and heavy security. When pressed for answers, he said only this: something's buried there, and someone doesn't want it found. Could it be the rumored chest of Marian revelations from the early 1900s? Could it be the resting place of Pope Pius XI's private diary, long believed to contain prophecies about a final pope? Or could it be something worse? And then, just as the church began to buzz with speculation, Cardinal Tagle made an unannounced visit, not to Rome, not to a cathedral, but to a small isolated convent on the outskirts of Portugal. Witnesses said he arrived just before dawn and left alone hours later, with tears in his eyes. No one knows what happened inside, but a cloistered nun who saw him depart offered one cryptic remark. He did not come for answers. He came to receive the weight. And now, in the silence that follows, something is building. A sense that the next move is not political, but prophetic. That the church is not appointing leaders. It is activating vessels. And then, the twist. One no one saw coming. A leaked communique, originating from within the walls of a European embassy, tied to the Holy See, revealed the most shocking line of all. Tagle's mission was foreseen, and his rise was mentioned in the original draft of the third secret of Fatima, the part that was never published. If true, this would change everything, because that would mean this moment was not chosen by men. It was chosen by heaven. And now that moment has come. One man, one mission, and a prophecy. Resurrected from silence, the world is watching, but heaven is already moving. Will we be ready for what comes next? Because when the voice from the East begins to speak, it may be the last voice the world hears before the storm.